With women's sports on the rise, it's important to have a conversation about protecting our female athletes. So let me tell you about why, according to ACL specialist Andy Williams, women are 7 times more likely to tear their ACL than men. Yet only 6% of ACL research focuses on women. Obviously, in women's and men's sports, a lot of injuries come down to luck. So don't take this as me saying, well, you tore your ACL because you're a girl. But just because y'all weren't paying as much attention to women's sports until right now does not mean that they weren't performing at an extremely high level. And the standard and intensity for female athletes is only rising, but in a really short time frame without the same money behind it and research and resources that men's sports have. This starts in youth sports where elite boys are usually identified by elementary school at the age of around 10 years old. As early as elementary and middle school, they're funneled into elite level AAU circuits, working with strength and conditioning coaches on elite travel teams, where they're getting position specific skill work. By high school, the top male athletes have access to college or even professional level training. While most girls don't get the access to that type of support until much later, sometimes as late as high school and college. Many girls' teams, especially at younger ages, don't have the same budgets or resources to focus on things like weight training and injury prevention. There's also a long-standing bias in girls' youth sports that focus on just play instead of becoming an elite athlete, which is a whole nother conversation for another day. Caitlin Clark infamously had to play for a boys' team because there were no girls' teams in her area. Then there's the anatomy differences between women and men. Women having wider hips that cause a different angle from the hips to the knee. Dr. Emma Ross stated that during the menstrual cycle, usually around the second week, women's joints literally start to become more lax. Also, I didn't know this until I was researching for this video, but women literally have a different foot shape than men, and oftentimes women play sports in shoes that were made specifically for men. All of this has an effect on the recovery as well. Because having weaker tissue in the knee affects the usual surgery done on ACLs, and because women don't usually get those stressors on that part of the body as a young child when they're growing, they tend to have weaker tissue. So how do we fix this? Well, it starts at the youth level. Start teaching girls to be good athletes and not just good at their sport. And investment. There are WNBA teams that don't even have training facilities. Women's sports are projected to earn $2.35 billion next year. If you want them to continue to grow the sport with their intensity and their level of play, then the research needs to come up, the investment in shoes for them needs to come up, all of this needs to be better. Wishing Juju Watkins and any woman dealing with an injury a speedy recovery. Obviously not saying this is the only reason you could tear your ACL, but I just wanted to bring awareness to it.